And welcome to this week's edition of Inside Jefferson Football, your weekly look at everything to do with Jaguar football. My name is Josh Powers. Coming up on this episode, we'll recap Jefferson's Friday night game against Apple Valley with the head coach Tim Carlson. We'll also talk to a couple of the players, Justin Seal and Caden Osmondson. And in the Where Are They Now segment, we catch up with past Jaguar Peter Knudsen, and we'll look ahead to Jefferson's game versus Waconia on Friday. But first, the head coach, Tim Carlson. It was a frustrating one, Coach. You did a lot of good things on Friday night. You right in the mix at the end, but in the end, a 7-point loss to Apple Valley. Just didn't make all the plays necessary to come out with the W.
Yeah, there were some things off and on throughout the game, but we gave ourselves a chance to tie it back up. Late in the game, we got down to, I believe, about the 15-yard line, and I told our guys, plan on going for two. I said, have it set 2 points. I said, we're going to score, then we're going to win this thing. We're not even going to bother going to overtime. I wanted to win it that bad. But yeah, we just too many little mistakes last week. We talked about field position being important and turnovers. We had to be on the positive end of both, and we weren't. And against, Apple Valley is a good team. They're big, they're strong, they're physical. They have some good athletes. And so there's little things that you have to do to win games like that, and we just didn't do it, and that's a credit to them. They did.
Let's take a look at some of the positives, Coach. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from this week's game. You guys got off to a tough start, trailing 14-0 right off the bat, but then you guys responded. Manny Montgomery was a big part of what you did offensively. Yeah,
we moved Manny into the slot there. We were running a slant a lot early in the game to get their DBs up closer to us. We get Manny in the slot, and then he's able to take advantage of that when the defender's up close. It's going to be hard for them to keep up with Manny. You can see, he's not even close. It's a strong safety or a linebacker trying to guard him by moving him in the slot.
He just juked him out of his shoes to get open by about 10 yards.
It wasn't very close.
He's turning into one of the leading receivers at this point. I know it's early in the season, but in the state already with his numbers.
Yeah, you know what? We just say, when in doubt, throw fade to Manny, and that's kind of what we've been doing. And, at some point, I think they're going to have to change coverage and how teams are covering him. And when they do that, then we adjust. Again, we'll get Quentin Morris back this week. Q is a great slot receiver. Newton is a good receiver. We have Matt Thompson. We're getting Hunter Burgess back last week. So we're getting some kids back that will catch the ball as well. Then you'll meet Caden and Pierce and BJ at the tight end spot. So we have other guys that throw it. So eventually they're going to have to double Manny. And if they don't, we'll just keep chucking it to them, and when they do, we'll just keep moving it around.
Well, more of Manny here, another long touchdown, Coach. He's got 6 touchdowns through 3 games. He had 167 yards receiving, and this one wasn't as wide open, but takes advantage of the Apple Valley player falling down and finishes it off with some nice movement.
Yeah, that's helpful, but you see the jet motion really helped here. We ran that jet. Chris Hammond ran the jet sweep for us, which was our most productive run. And you see it really well from this angle. If you watch the linebackers and the line with this jet motion, that's going to help give Nolan some extra time. See how they all bail out? He's able to step in, and he throws a nice pass. Again, it's always nice when guys fall down, but we'll take it. We've fallen down enough, so we'll take it. Yeah, and that was it to tie it up, so that was awesome.
Special teams, I know there was a couple special teams plays you'd like to have back, but this one really helped you in the game, helped you take a lead into the fourth quarter. And you guys have been doing this throughout the season. 3 games now, Coach. 3 kicks you've blocked as you get in to block this punt.
Yeah, and we could literally have about 7 blocked kicks this year. We're close to getting a couple more in Apple Valley and the week before against Chan. We've been so close on so many times. But Coach Silka puts a lot of time and effort into that group and the special teams group, and they work hard at it and they take pride at it. And it was great to see the excitement when we blocked that kick. You give our offense a chance, and they were excited to put this thing in.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, and obviously gave you outstanding field position.
Yeah, and again, we kind of had it planned out. We knew where we wanted to attack. You see the kids talking a little bit. They knew what they were doing, and we just come right up the middle, able to get it, and then do the smart thing and fall on it.
This is actually a nice recovery because it kind of caromed right toward your player, and that he did a nice job to smother it and secure the possession.
Yeah, he goes down again. It's something you practice. We practice how to, fall on footballs, and it goes right to, I think that might be Pierce that actually ends up with it. And hey, puts ourselves in great position. We need to do more of that, whether it be block hits or returns. Just get a nice return and, tackle on the kickoff and tackle on the punts. And we're getting there. So we'll block some more kicks this year, but there's other aspects we need to get better at as well.
Certainly one block per game, that is doing more than your fair share. Here, Rashawn gets in the end zone to give you guys a 7-point lead here as you head into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I was happy. Rosie had a fumble earlier.
Or sorry, Roosevelt,
Roosevelt.
not Rashawn, my bad.
Yeah, just go Cage, and you're typically pretty good off, well off saying Cage. But
exactly.
Yeah, I was happy to see Roosevelt get in the end zone. I don't know how much you saw afterwards, but Roosevelt was quite happy to get into the end zone as well. But I was happy after a fumble early, and he just pounds his way in and kind of kept those legs going. He and Rashawn are so different in how they run. Rashawn is a bull going forward, and I was happy to see him punch it in.
Yeah, we talked off air. Pierce Opong is a guy really making some splash plays for you guys. Talk about what he's been bringing on the defensive end.
Yeah, you know what? You watch Pierce play, and being in lineman, you don't see everything that he does, but Pierce is a special football player. He really is. He has the instincts that are just really some things you just can't coach. But 35 tackles on the year, 9 QB pressures. 3 or 4 sacks. He's got about 8 tackle for losses, and he just gives a full effort every snap. He's played offensive tackle. That's why he had the number issue, the week before, and he played the first quarter at O tackle. First quarter ends, he takes one jersey off, puts on his H-back jersey, catches a pass for 15 yards. So he pretty much did everything in that Apple Valley game as well. And he's a great student, so don't want to forget that.
There you go. Well, we'll be seeing you back at home on Friday night, Coach. We'll preview Waconia, who was just there last week.
Yeah, they played as many games there as we have. So
exactly,
yeah.
But we'll be back in the final segment to preview that.
Sounds good.
All right, coming up next, it's our players segment. Stick around on Inside Jefferson Football.
My children have been in BA for about 3 years. My children really just love being a part of the competition. It's a fun atmosphere, and they love playing with their friends. There's a lot of great volunteers, so there's a lot of great support on the sidelines from the coaches and the parents. For me, when I think of BA, what comes to mind is some of my own experiences. I had a chance to be part of BA when I was growing up as a youth myself. So it's a lot of fun for me to have my kids be a part of the program, have that same experience, have that chance to play different sports, try things out in a fun atmosphere with some competition, but learn some of the skills and just be a part of the game. BA has changed over the years. They've certainly added a lot more options for sports and probably different ages that you can play. But the thing that hasn't changed is the volunteers and just the spirit of bringing the community together to be a part of something active, be a part of something organized, and a great way to play sports.
BA is here to stay. Come, sign up, and play.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars will be at home on Friday night to take on Waconia. The Wildcats making their second straight trip to Bloomington Stadium on Friday night. You can check it out on Channel 15 or on BEC-TV.org. And I do want to mention we are live on Facebook. So if you're watching one of our archived versions of this show and you want to watch it live on Facebook next week, easy to do that. It's facebook.com/BEC-TV. Player segment time now, and got a returner from last year, Caden Osmondson. Welcome back to the show, and Justin Seal. Welcome, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks.
Caden, you've been here before. You were here last year, so what is it like being on the show for the second time?
I mean, it's fun. I'm having a good time right now. I do like it.
How about you, Justin? Got some butterflies?
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. All
right, so Caden, talk about how your senior year is going so far. You play on both sides of the football. Talk to me about 2018 so far for you.
So far, it's going good. I'm getting a lot of playing time on both sides of the ball, which is a lot of fun. Overall, yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun, and it's been good.
How about you, Justin? You're a guy that works on both sides of the ball, too. Talk about, for those who don't know, what are the positions that you play at?
So I play cornerback. I start on defense, and I play a little bit of offense. I would say for defense, I love it. I love playing defense more than anything, and I'm just blessed to play at my favorite position since growing up. And offense, I like to get a few reps at receiver. It's pretty fun. I like when I go in.
So you guys both work with our Where Are They Now guests who we're going to meet next segment in Peter Knutson. Caden, I'll start with you. What is it like to work with Peter?
Coach Pete's great. I love that guy. He's a lot of fun to work with, and he's a good coach.
How about you, Justin? I know he's a young coach. He just graduated from Bethel, so but he probably relates to you pretty well.
Yeah,
he's pretty similar in your age.
To add on to what you're saying, yeah, it's really advantageous that he's our age. I get to talk to him just like I would talk to any of my friends. And during practice, it's really fun having him. He gets to switch up drills and stuff. Everything is fun. He keeps you on your toes and stuff. It's nice. You
guys have a pretty dynamic receiving core too. Not just Manny, but Coach C mentioned it in the first segment. All the guys that contribute to what you guys are doing in the passing game, you guys have been putting up some great numbers. So, Justin, what is it like to be such a part of such a strong unit?
Oh, I love it. Every day in practice, I get to go up against our receivers, and I'm blessed to go up against them. As a defensive back, I get better every day going up against the best.
That's true. How about you, Caden?
I mean, on offense, I just don't get thrown to that much, but it's still a lot of fun to be out there with them and to celebrate with them on those big touchdowns.
Let's talk about what you guys are doing off the field. I know, Caden, you're involved in you were just at Normandale Hills Elementary pretty recently, right? Talk about what you're doing off the field.
I'm in a class called JAG Corps, so we do a bunch of volunteering, and so I was at TLC today, a kindergarten, so I got to volunteer with a bunch of kids, and that was a lot of fun.
Justin, I hear you're one of the top students in your class. Talk about what you're doing academically. You're part of the National Honor Society.
Yeah, so with the National Honor Society, with my friends, I volunteer a lot. It's actually a lot of fun. Getting to go out, hang out with my friends, and make an impact on the community is a lot of fun. And also, I'm a Pathfinder, which is a program that we have at our school that helps freshmen get around and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun also.
Just talk about, Caden, what are you looking forward to in your senior year? I know we just got underway a couple weeks ago. It's a long academic year for you, but what are some things that you're looking forward to as your last year at Jefferson?
I don't know. That's kind of a tough question. I mean,
you're living in the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just being with my friends, and I know I'm going to miss them when I go off to college. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the football season also.
How about you, Justin?
I would have to say the same. I'm looking forward to cherishing times with my friends before we all go off to college and just soaking everything in my last couple of months with my friends.
You got any options that you're looking at for post-secondary for you next year?
So I'm not looking at any colleges for sports, but just for schooling, I'm looking at a few different schools.
Okay. How about you, Caden?
I'm planning on playing football in college, and right now I'm narrowing it down to a couple of schools, and UMD is probably my top one.
Okay. Good program up there. All right, guys, it's time for our initials game Bloomington version. I know, Caden, you played this last year, looking for some redemption. This year, Justin, we'll explain the rules that if you don't know, I'll give you an initial of a person, place, or thing. It's somehow related to the city of Bloomington. Then a series of 6 clues. At any time, if you think you know the answer of what the initials stand for, buzz in by saying your name, and if you win, you got bragging rights for the rest of the year, no matter what happens on the field. All right, guys, so our initials this week are NB. NB. So clue number 1, 4.5 miles long. Clue number 2, the name of it changes twice on either end of this.
Caden, Normandale Boulevard.
Normandale Boulevard is correct. After 2 clues, you got it. I don't even want to read the rest of the clues because that was impressive. After not getting a championship last year in our initials game, you come back this year and you got bragging rights over Justin, one of the top students in your class. So there you go. Maybe you've got the book smarts over Justin, at least for tonight, all right? Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Friday night. Best of luck against Waconia.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Where Are They Now segment coming up next. Former Jaguar Peter Knutson stops by when we return.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
All right, I won't mention it. Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars back home. They're taking on Waconia on Friday night, 7 o'clock start. You can watch it live on BEC-TV.com or check it out in person at Bloomington Stadium on Friday night. Where Are They Now segment, and former Jaguar Peter Knutson joins. And I think you're the most recent graduate we've ever had on Where Are They Now, because you literally just graduated from college here last spring.
Yeah, I just graduated from Bethel University. I played tight end and punter there too, so yeah, it's very recent and it's good to be back.
Yeah, class of 2014. So let's talk a little bit about what you did after Jefferson. You said you went to Bethel. Talk about your experience there up north a little bit with the Royals.
Yeah, so I came in as a receiver. I put on about 50 pounds, and they moved me to tight end. I was too slow to play receiver, which I loved. I learned to love the game of football some more, and I also punted a little bit too. And I was involved in some other politics clubs and stuff like that, but played football there as well.
Now I want to go back a little bit to high school just for a moment, because would you have ever thought starting your junior year in high school you'd be playing 4 years of football after college, because you weren't even a part of the high school football program until your last year. So let's rewind back, talk about that story and how you came to be a football player.
Yeah, it's a fun story, and I'm thankful that that's how it worked out. Thankful to God for that. I started out my senior year playing soccer, and it wasn't going the way I was hoping. So I talked to Coach C, and I'd asked if I could come play football. I joined the second week of two-a-days. They threw me in the starting lineup, and our first game was against our crosstown rival, well, Kennedy, obviously.
Yep.
And I caught, first playing offense, I caught the first 3 passes, and it was in 2 weeks that happened, and ended up being all right and going and playing college football. So it's really a cool story of how God used me, and it's just a cool story. It's really interesting. So,
had you played any sort of football like BAA before soccer? Not at all.
No. None.
Not even like backyard football?
I mean, I'd play with
Sure.
my buddies. I mean, I played basketball, so I understood going up and getting the football, and I loved to run around and had pretty big hands, so that's all I needed, I guess, at that point.
So let's transition to after college, because now you're still involved in the game of football. Talk about that.
Yeah, so, well, I actually teach at Normandale Hills. I teach second graders at Normandale Hills. That's pretty crazy doing that. And then I also coach football here for the varsity team as the wide receivers coach too. So I'm doing a little bit of both of that. So it's fun to be involved in the community, both at a lower elementary level and also at the high school level.
Was it something, what made you want to major in, I'm assuming you majored in elementary education or some sort of education. What made you decide to go into the field of teaching?
Yeah, well, just seeing young kids, and a lot of them don't really have either father figures or dads or positive male role models, and just seeing that that's something that could contribute both in their lives and to the community, and also just kids seeing adults and grown men who care about them and also care about the football program in the city is just something that kind of brings everyone together. So it's kind of a mix of being a father figure but also trying to bring the community together.
Why Normandale Hills? Is it something that you were targeting coming back to the city of Bloomington, or was it just an opportunity that opened up and it just happened to work out for you?
It was just an opportunity that opened up. The principal there, Dr. Volmuth, is a good guy. He's involved with Jefferson sports too, so is his son. So it worked out nice that way. But yep, just happened.
That's
way.
A little good of a in there that you were a former player. Did that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that helped you a little bit?
I think it did. He knows some coaches here at Jefferson, so I think me being former Jaguar and caring about the sports programs here definitely helped out.
Let's go back again to your high school days. What are some of the memories that you have, not only with your season of football, but also in all the other activity? You were in soccer and basketball. Just talk about some of the things that you remember fondly. It hasn't been that long, only 4 years. But yeah. What do you remember?
Yeah, I just remember doing lots of different activities. I played football and basketball, but I also played soccer and baseball leading up to that too. So just just meeting new people. I was also involved in PFC, National Honor Society, clubs like that too. So it's just fun to get to meet different people and do different kinds of clubs and stuff, and try to make as many friends and connections as possible.
What do you remember from Coach Carlson? What is it like now? You were a player under him. Now he kind of can tell you what to do as your boss on the field, so to speak. But what do you remember about Coach Carlson from high school? Has he changed any?
I would say he's still pretty much the same guy. I've been good family friends with him for a while. My favorite memory is before the Kennedy game, and I'd been playing football for about a week. He was upset at how we practiced, and he took his little flip phone back in the day and threw it across the field. And that's when I realized this guy is legit. All right, you should be a little afraid of this guy. So, but I really love how much you could tell he loves. I can only say good things about the guy. He loves the community, cares so much about the game, and he's really been like a father figure to me too. So it's really awesome to come and be with him.
Did the phone break, or was it still
the
usable?
phone did not break. Tim's got a strong arm too. You'll see him throw footballs at practice, and phone stayed the same. And it was really funny to see, and kind of scared me a little bit too. So.
Well, you've got a great perspective, and I want to close with some advice you have for current members of the Jaguar team or future Jaguars watching this show. As a guy who has been a former Jaguar and now back into the community, what advice would you have for younger kids coming through the program?
Yeah, I would say really this program, they care about you both as a person and as a football player, and just know that football's great, right? And we want to learn how to be better football players, but what you become as a person is even more important. And that's something I learned at Bethel University too, but something that Tim instills in us even at that level. So it's about really growing in your faith and who you are as a person, but it's also about the game of football and building those relationships with other guys. So just remember that football is great, but it's not all about that. It's how it all works together.
Well, Peter, you're doing some great things. Glad to have you back in the Jaguar family, and best of luck as you start your career.
Yeah. All right.
All right, that's Peter Knutson and our Where Are They Now segment. Coach Carlson will be back in just a moment to preview Waconia on Inside Jefferson Football.
Let's set the facts straight. Almost a quarter of car crashes involve cell phones. When you text and drive, you look away at least 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's the length of a football field. Time out. It's illegal in 39 states to text and drive, but you're in danger everywhere when you don't focus. So keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. No text, no wrecks. So don't text and drive.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars and Waconia on Friday night, 7 o'clock start at Bloomington Stadium. And to preview it, as always, the head coach, Tim Carlson, back. Now, as we went to break, we saw the highlight of Peter catching that touchdown pass against Kennedy in his first ever game. Just talk about his story and then why you decided to bring him back as a member of the coaching staff.
Well, I love telling that story. Football is a great sport, and above all else, we're a family. We get mad at each other, but we're a family. And Pete, I knew Pete for a while. He was such a great young man that I wanted him part of our family.
And you can see that with the interview.
Absolutely. And I knew he was a good athlete, but he ends up being our offensive MVP, our team MVP for the year. Had a great year. I've moved on. I have a new phone. I have an iPhone now. I got rid of the flip phone. But I was hoping Pete again, and Pete had some nice, interactions with J.P. McCura from Lakeville North on the basketball court. So I was kind of hoping he'd talk a little bit about that because those were interesting. So anyway, but why did I bring him back? He's great with kids. He's just great with kids, and you heard it. He's just a good role model, and we're so happy to have him on staff.
Yeah, great addition for you guys. And let's focus in on the next game, Waconia. Yeah. They were just at Bloomington Stadium. We saw them against Kennedy on BEC-TV on Friday, 38-2. Yeah. But Kennedy did some good things in that game too. But Waconia really has made their mark this season with defense and special teams.
Yeah, you know what? They've had several returns for touchdowns. You know, it's almost like a broken record here again going into week 4. They're big up front. They're physical. Linebackers fill. They have a quarterback that's a good runner, not necessarily a great thrower, but you know, we've seen them play Benilde and we've seen them play Hopkins, 2 very different teams, and Kennedy did some things running the ball against them. I thought Kennedy moved the ball pretty well against them. Kennedy did a pretty good job of limiting the big plays and, you know, on the ground game, and so they're going to be good. It's just the way it is. They're 3-0. They're a good team, but again, we can't. I'm not so worried about Waconia. I'm worried about Jefferson, and again, we have to eliminate some of those mistakes that we made in Apple Valley. We have to play better field position, and we just can't turn the ball over like we have been. The other thing is we have to create turnovers, and we haven't been doing that either. So if we can start doing some of these little things, we have playmakers to do it. We can score. We can hold them. We just need to put it all together, and you know, it's a district game. It's a section game too.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the key plays from last Friday's game. Waconia got off to such a great start, and Kennedy really wasn't able to recover. This is their first offensive possession after 3 and out. Not anything fancy here, but it gets the job done for a 41-yard touchdown.
Number 10 there, he's probably their best athlete on offense, and he's usually a wide receiver. He lines up in the backfield, just catches a swing. I think they wanted to catch Kennedy in some man stuff and just try and block one-on-one. So he's a good athlete, and he can make plays. Again,
Barber got shoved in the back, by the way. Not that I'm still bitter about that, but probably shouldn't have been a touchdown in my opinion.
Well,
but
I never hold on to things like that, Josh. You know me. I never complain about the officiating, but yeah. So they have some good athletes, but you know, again, it's doing our thing that's most important.
They've had, you mentioned several returns for touchdowns. Now these they're almost pick sixes. They had 2 of them the week before they played Kennedy. We'll take a look at another interception that takes them down inside the 10. Actually, this is a punt return. Sorry, that goes for a touchdown. So another non-offensive touchdown that they've put on for.
And you know, if you just watch them take some good angles, right there, that's a smart block. They don't, you know, they don't try to take anybody out. They just get on people, and then, you know, again, they have good athletes. It's a good program. It's you know, they do a good job in Waconia, and they're going to be strong.
Here, we promise we'll show you the interception here.
That's okay. I don't need to see it.
2 interceptions last week. This and against Kennedy, this one almost goes back for another non-offensive touchdown.
Yeah, they play a 3-4 defense. We'll bring those inside guys a lot. Safeties don't play too deep. They may play a little bit different against us. A little bit softer as safeties, I would think so. If not, hey, we're fine with that. You know, we've kind of shown what we do. You know, we're not going to surprise anybody. If they want to play safeties at 8 to 10 yards, we'll be okay with that, and we'll be able to make plays. But they're sound defensively as well as offense and special teams. They're just, you know, it's an all-around good football team.
Yeah, it'll be a good challenge for you guys, and we'll have it for you on BEC-TV. We'll see you on Friday night, Coach.
All right.
All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of Inside Jefferson Football. Again, the Jaguars and Waconia on Friday night, 7 o'clock start at Bloomington Stadium. For our crew, this is Josh Powers saying good night from our studios.